navy side is off, the rear fin is off, the seats are out, and that just right there makes this thing. That's why I liked having those removable sides, because it makes just do those few things and it makes everything so easy and accessible to work on. Take the windscreen off, you can lay on the bow, everything, and it's like it takes you 10 minutes to take all that stuff off, which I really, really like. So now I gotta decide. So I already agreed. So here's how these grooves work. I literally just had them really thin stuff that then the carbon fiber sat down in that groove. And I obviously already ripped off. So one of those got ripped off yesterday. Here's the other mangled one. So this thing is back down to bare nothing on this side. The fin is the exact same way. It is a groove also. So now I kind of got to decide where I'm heading with this. I don't know what I want to do, honestly. I gotta kind of might take a break and think about this before I do any rash. I guess I already ripped that side off, but I'm pretty sure that those little grooves need to come off because I'm abandoning the carbon fiber because I don't really have time to go get the material, do a layup, shape the sides, do all that stuff, and I just kind of am over that. So, but I got to decide, do I try to make these aluminum sides removable also? Do I bolt them on, you know, weld a couple brackets on there and actually bolt them in? That would be totally secure. One other thing is, I don't know if I mentioned this in yesterday's video, is that we were, I had Brad pull the data from Australia through a remote connection, which was awesome. I've never done that before. So he was on my computer through Australia pulling the data off of the Motec, and he was looking at some of our stuff, learned some things from him. But one of the things was in a left-hand turn, we were losing oil pressure, or not oil, fuel pressure. So we talked about the baffles in there, and the baffles are completely, how do I want to say it? They're geometric, they're symmetrical. So one on each side of the pickup. So I don't think a turn, unless one of those baffles failed and it's kind of flopped over in the tank, that wouldn't make sense. What I am thinking is happening is my vent is up on this side of the fuel tank, and when you go on a hard left-hand turn, that fuel is sloshing over here with some, you know, some anger to it, and it is making that fuel vent, the ball in there, it's essentially washing that ball and pushing that ball up and momentarily blocking the vent is what I think might be happening. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm contemplating pulling out the whole fuel tank and doing a rebuild, just essentially building another one, build it a little bit bigger so there's no guesswork in that. So I'm going to take a break, go inside, kind of figure out what I want to do. All right, so I think I committed to not rebuilding the entire fuel tank. I took out my sister bought me one of these things. It's essentially a scope, bore scope kind of a thing that you run and Wi-Fi it. So I took off the vent and bore scope down in the tank. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see down there or not. I was concerned that one of the, probably the one on the right side of the boat, that one of those baffles had gotten knocked over or blown over kind of thing. So then when I was in a left-hand turn, all the fuel was sloshing out to the right, and that's why it was only in a left-hand turn. So that was option number one, why we could have been having fuel starvation. But the more I looked at it, and the more that my fuel vent is over here on the far right side, all that fuel is sloshing over there and probably wreaking havoc with this vent is what I'm assuming. And especially because it's off to a side, then you're going to get all that. So all these are is a ball bearing down there with a couple little ports. I'm not sure you can see the ports. Yeah, there you can see the port. For it to breathe, and that thing can move around and slosh around. But when it tips upside down, the ball bearing seats in there, and it seals it so it gets no air. So I'm not 100% sure that that's what's going on, but what I did was built this little standpipe essentially, and I'm putting it in the dead center of the fuel tank so it's symmetrical so you won't get as much fuel slosh. And then I also essentially created another baffle around that vent right there, so no massive quantities of fuel should go shooting up there. So I'm going to weld that on, weld a cap over the old one. This should be the original line. All I got to do is build a slightly longer line for the fuel vent. I'm going to run it like this, see what happens, see if that fuel pressure is still dropping. If it does, I'm going to have to build a new tank, but this is my fix for this. That's the big mechanical part of the things from yesterday. And the next thing I think I'm going to try to do, I'm still trying to decide if I need to pull the motor out or not to get these sides on, but I wanted to get this done now while the sides are off. Way easier to access the fuel tank and all those lines while it's out. All right, guys, I'm feeling pretty defeated, pretty kind of beat down and frustrated right now. So I'm going to call it a day, call it a video. I will say what I got done. I showed you the fuel tank and the fuel vent. I was having an issue with the starter. There's one little tooth missing or chipped on the can't even think. I can't even think right now. On the the flywheel, the flex plate, the ring gear. That's the word I was looking for. So I ordered two new ring gears, one to go on and one as a spare. So that was kind of stressing me out on the boat ramp when we'd find that bad spot and then we'd have to turn it over. So get that out of the equation. I ordered a sump pump to evacuate the oil out of the dry sump to change the oil because there's no way to get to the drain unless I pull the motor out. And I decided not to pull the motor. I think we're fine. And that's where I'm going to end. I've got this thing. I had to transfer it off of its trailer and back onto the dolly just because the fenders were getting in my way and I'd have no access. So I got this thing kind of taped off and ready to go. I'm going to grind all that kind of adhesive and the welds back down to nothing on both sides. I got that ready to go. So that shouldn't take too long to do that. And I was really having the dilemma on, I like having the removable sides. However, when I was doing the oil tank and looking at the ring gear and everything else back there, I was noticing that, like, man, if I just have the rear fin off, that gives me easy access to the whole rear of the boat. So I'm going to compromise. I'm going to weld the sides on and I'm going to bolt the rear fin on. So that will be removable and I can access everything back there. So that's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow I should get a good jump on that. It shouldn't honestly take too long to cut these parts out of the plate, get them welded, get them tacked. I might as well just keep going and flipping, prime them and paint them while I got the thing all covered up. So I kind of think that that's the plan. Thanks for watching. I feel like I'm in this emotional roller coaster where I have a good day and a bad day, but I guess that's kind of the way it goes. And today was, it was kind of frustrating, kind of ho-hum, but I got some things done and I came up with a plan. Gonna hit it again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the series. I'm super glad we didn't sink the boat, and this thing will still be at Port Angeles. And the 146, I'd say that's about a 60% chance that that thing will still be at Port Angeles for the test and tune on the 10th. Thanks for watching.